Want to read that on your way in, man?
Respectfully, I'm not going to answer any questions.
How we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Mind if I get your name and badge number?
Yeah, my name's Investigator Ryan Metter with the Illinois Secretary of State Police.
Yes, sir.
Are you a First Amendment auditor? Is that what you're doing?
I'm just a citizen exercising constitutional rights today.
Sure. So, as you know, there's a sign there that says notice recording or photography of any type is not allowed.
Okay.
Yep. So you can't have you videotaping inside the facility. And there's that. Sure. State's case law favors state of Illinois has to not allow the recording or photography of any type in Secretary of State facilities. All inquiries should be directed to the Secretary of State Office of the General Counsel, 217-785-3094, and ask for Campbell.
Do you have any case law attached with this that you'd be willing to provide me, or?
Contact the General Counsel, and they'll be able to give it to you. So, you got
Sure.
your ID on you?
No, I don't, actually.
Okay. What's your name?
Am I being detained right now?
I mean, unless the Secretary of State wants you trespass, that's why I'm trying to get your name.
Okay. What statute would that be trespassing under? State-supported land?
Well, you disregarded a sign that says recording of any type is not allowed, so you violated that sign.
So you are suspecting me of trespassing?
I'm saying if we want to trespass you, I would need your name. So, as of right now, you're not being trespassed.
Okay. So as of right now, I'm not under suspicion of a crime.
Okay, here's the thing, though. If you show back up and you cause issues, then we'll have your name.
Nobody even asked me to leave.
Okay. Well, they're asking you to leave.
Alright guys, pay very close attention because this encounter starts off calm, respectful, and almost routine. A citizen walks into an Illinois Secretary of State facility, exercising what he believes are protected constitutional rights. Immediately, officers approach and point toward a posted sign claiming photography and recording are prohibited inside the building. But instead of panicking or becoming emotional, the citizen stays composed and starts asking questions that instantly change the entire direction of the encounter. He asks for names, badge numbers, and most importantly, whether he is being lawfully detained. That single question shifts the balance of power. The officers rely heavily on policy, warning him that recording inside the facility is not allowed. But policy and law are not always the same thing. And the moment this citizen calmly challenges the legal basis behind the order, the atmosphere changes completely. What looked like a routine interaction suddenly becomes a constitutional battlefield unfolding in real time.
Okay. Well, respectfully, I'm going to decline.
So now you are trespassing.
Okay.
So what is your name?
Would you mind, before we move any more forward, because I'm gonna do you a favor.
Yeah.
Okay, before anybody loses qualified immunity, look up the statute that you're willing to trespass me under and cite that. I promise you it.
Yeah. Are you refusing to leave the property?
Will I be arrested if I don't leave?
You'll be cited. Yeah.
I'll be cited with what citing?
Criminal trespass to property. Actually, it's criminal trespass to state-supported property.
Look that statute up, and it will be in plain text why I am not in violation of that statute. I've just been through this. I'm doing you a favor, Metter, Officer Metter.
Yeah, you got the name right. Yep.
And
most people mispronounce it. So
well, you gave it to me first, and I appreciate that. Obviously, in the heat of the moment, I'm not very confrontational at all. I'm not looking for a confrontation, but I'm not looking to have my rights stepped on.
I understand. I respect that. I respect your, I appreciate that and everything. And like I said, I'm just telling you that, that's why I gave you that decision.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's the thing. I'm not looking at writing you a ticket.
Right.
I'm not wanting to go down that. I'm just wanting you to respect your rights.
So the summons, the summons for the ticket, would that go to the municipal court in Salem?
It would go to the Marion County courthouse.
Okay. I'm going to do you one last favor here.
I'm not telling you I'm trespassing you, but I would like your name for my case.
Yeah, and I understand how that goes, but no matter what, I'm not going to give it. I'm going to do one last favor for everybody here. Call Tim Hudspeth. You're going to do yourself a very big favor with your career. And I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
I know it sounds very pretentious, me saying that. Call Tim Hudspeth right now, and I promise you, he will tell you I'm fine to do what I'm doing. That's the bottom line. He doesn't know me personally, but I just dealt with him.
This is where things begin escalating fast. The officers start floating the possibility of criminal trespass, claiming that if the Secretary of State wants him removed, they will need his identification. But the citizen doesn't surrender his rights just because authority is pressuring him. Instead, he calmly pushes back and asks the critical question nobody seems prepared to answer. What exact statute has he violated? Notice the confidence here, guys. He's not yelling, threatening, or resisting physically. He's standing firm on legal grounds and warning the officers to verify the law before somebody loses qualified immunity. That phrase alone completely changes the mood. Suddenly, officers who moments earlier sounded certain now begin hesitating. The citizen even urges them to contact the county prosecutor before making a costly mistake. And this is the key difference throughout the encounter. The officers continue speaking in terms of policy and procedure, while the citizen keeps bringing the discussion back to constitutional protections and statutory language.
He's going to know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter who does it. If you're off shift, if any one of them guys in there decide to come in here and record, we have the right to do it.
Here's the thing. I appreciate what you're doing. Okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm a full advocate for people using their rights.
Sure.
But with it being a Secretary of State, so they have their own policy, and as far as the general counsel goes also, that's why we give you the number for the general counsel, is a lot of people have social security cards, birth certificates, other things out here that we don't want people reporting. You know what I mean?
Well, they shouldn't be dealing with that in public, though. You know, if they're going to do...
They have to do that inside.
No, they can take them somewhere private. So, 720, let me see if I remember this right. 720 ILCS 521-5, that's criminal trespass to state-supported land. And I'm going to read it right from the illa.gov.
I say once you trespass.
You mind if I get your name and badge number? I didn't get
Detective Swagler.
Detective Swagler?
Yes, sir. 295, Salem Police Department.
295. I appreciate that.
Yep.
I'm going to read you, and I know this will be my third time saying it, but this will be the last favor that I do everybody here. A5, under criminal trespass to state-supported land, right? A person commits criminal trespass to state-supported land when he or she enters upon a right-of-way, including facilities and improvements thereon. No, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong section here.
Different guy who's refusing to give us the trespass.
A person commits criminal trespass to state-supported land when he or she enters upon land supported in whole or in part with state funds or federal funds administered, granted through state agencies or any building on the land by presenting false documents or falsely representing his or her identity orally. I haven't done that, right? We'll skip to the part where this will apply, what it doesn't apply. Okay? If I refuse to leave, well, I'm going to go back inside.
And now he's stating this going to go back inside.
Absolutely. I have the right to. I came out here on my own free will, not because I was being detained. Just do me a favor.
Now the pressure intensifies even more. Officers continue insisting that recording inside the building violates policy because sensitive documents like social security cards or birth certificates may be visible. But the citizen immediately counters with a powerful constitutional argument. If private information is truly sensitive, then it should be handled in private areas, not exposed within publicly accessible spaces. And that statement hits hard because it exposes the weakness in the officer's position. Instead of emotionally escalating, the citizen begins dissecting Illinois criminal trespass law piece by piece. He references Illinois Statute 720 ILCS 5/21-5 directly from the official government website, carefully explaining that criminal trespass to state-supported land requires very specific legal elements. False identity, unlawful interference, or disruptive behavior must actually exist. Simply recording in a public government building does not automatically meet those standards. The officers keep circling back to internal policy, but the citizen keeps reminding them that policies cannot override constitutional rights protected under federal law.
Oh, I'm allowed to be inside also. When I remain upon the land or in the building, here's the important part, and who thereby interferes with another person's lawful use or enjoyment of the building or land. How does me exercising my First Amendment constitutionally protected right interfere with anybody's lawful use or enjoyment of this building. I promise you, I told these guys, call Tim Hudspeth. It's going to save you guys from having to lose your qualified immunity over this. This is clearly established. The prosecutor of Salem of Marion County knows exactly what I'm doing, and he will tell you. You do yourself a favor and speak with him.
I told you my first name. Can I at least get your first name? So I'm not saying sir.
Respectfully, I'm not going to. You can just call me sir. I appreciate that.
Okay, sir, you're not allowed on the property. You're not allowed inside. Okay, you're trespass. Okay, so you're
By
not
who?
allowed.
By who?
The Illinois Secretary of State.
So you're
by trespass.
So you're not
Now,
going to call
as
Tim
a
Hudspeth?
state officer right now, I'm trespassing you from the property. Whether or not you have a right to be somewhere, the people who have this property have a right to trespass you.
Well, it's public property.
Yeah, but we can trespass you from this property. Okay, because it's state property.
So you're just going to not even do yourself the favor and call Tim Hudspeth.
I called my sergeant. That's all I need to call.
But the prosecuting attorney of this county,
The
you're
Illinois
not willing to
Secretary of
count.
State policy dictates
Okay.
exactly what I gave you.
Well, respectfully, I'm trying to help you here, right?
And-
Because
and
I'm not.
respectfully,
You're
and-
misinformed.
And
I've already been through this in the area,
I,
in Marion County, with Tim Hudspeth.
I understand.
Okay. No, you don't understand, or you don't care.
I appreciate what you have to say.
I don't feel like you do, because you're trying to violate my rights and you're not even willing to go through any single route to rectify your mistake right now. So under the authority of who?
The Illinois Secretary of State Police.
Because it's going to come down on yourself personally and your department.
You have the number for our general counsel. For the
I
Secretary
don't
of
need
State.
counsel to exercise my constitution.
Alright guys, this is where the encounter turns into a full legal showdown. The citizen begins reading the exact language of the Illinois statute directly in front of the officers. And once the wording is exposed, the entire narrative starts collapsing. He points out that criminal trespass requires interference with another person's lawful use or enjoyment of the building. Then he asks the devastating question nobody can answer. How exactly does quietly recording inside a public lobby interfere with anyone? Silence follows. And that silence speaks volumes. The officers appear increasingly uncertain, but instead of stepping back and re-evaluating the situation, they continue leaning on state policy. Meanwhile, the citizen repeatedly advises them to contact the prosecutor, Tim Hudspeth, warning that the law is already clearly established on this issue. You can feel the tension building now because both sides understand the stakes. One side believes constitutional rights are being violated, while the other side is desperately trying to maintain authority without fully understanding the law they're attempting to enforce.
Rights.
Yeah, I understand that. So I'm
So
gonna
you
ask
just
to
don't
leave the
care then?
property, okay?
So you
And
just don't care?
Are you refusing to identify yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I need a fingerprint check.
Is your body camera on?
It is on. Everybody's.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. So are you refusing to leave the property?
Am I going to be arrested if I don't leave?
You are.
Under what authority?
Under the authority of the Illinois Secretary of State Police.
So, because I've
The
never...
authority given to me by the state of Illinois.
Okay, so what exactly would happen?
Well, normally I would just write you a ticket and send you on your way for criminal trespass, okay?
But because
Normally
I'm being
criminal-
so defiant, it's going to escalate.
What it is, it's failure to identify. So I have to write a name on that ticket.
So you suspect me of a crime.
I do.
So I've been detained this whole time.
Right now you are because you're refusing to leave the property.
So if I leave,
If
if I just walk away right now, then what?
then I'm going to let you walk away because I don't want to write you a ticket. I don't want to take you to jail. If you
Okay.
stay on this property any longer, then I am going to have to put handcuffs on you and take you to the jail.
Well, I don't
and
want
fingerprint
that.
you. I don't want that either because
It seems like you do.
no, I don't.
You're not even willing to go down
You
an
know what
avenue
time-
that
you know
I've
what
given
time
you.
I get off work? 4 o'clock. 4:16.
Nobody's
I don't
forcing
really
you to
want
violate my rights right now, sir.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
You don't even do yourself the favor of calling him, though. Like I'm
called my
obviously.
sergeant. That's all I need to call. And I provided you documentation from our legal counsel as far as
Would either one of you be willing to call Tim Hudspeth?
Secretary of State, property Secretary of State.
And I just read you the statute that he was trying
I
to
just told you,
cite me with.
and I just told
So
you. that I-
nobody's willing to even save yourselves the qualified immunity.
From what I'm gathering, we're kind of in an impasse, right?
Well, yeah, because I'm exercising rights and you're violating rights. That's the
I'm sorry you
impasse.
feel that way. So right now you are on state property. Okay. So, and I am asking you to leave. If you fail to leave, then you will be charged for criminal trespass.
What is that? A book and release, or is it down to the jail? You hold me for the weekend,
Well,
or
as of
what?
right now, you're failing to identify.
Okay.
So if you
So we're
fail to-
stacking charges
yeah.
for exercising rights.
So if you fail to identify, then you're going to be taken in and fingerprinted so I can get your identity. So then I can write you the ticket and then you can be.
How does that work? You guys beat me into oblivion until I'm willing to.
Now the confrontation reaches another level. Officers officially inform the citizen that he is trespassed from the property and no longer allowed inside the building. But even here, the citizen remains remarkably composed. He immediately asks the most important question possible. Trespassed under whose authority? The officers respond by citing the Illinois Secretary of State Police and State Policy, but once again they avoid addressing the actual constitutional issue being raised. The citizen continues warning them that refusing to verify the law with the county prosecutor could personally expose them to litigation and loss of qualified immunity. Think about that for a second, guys. He's literally handing them an opportunity to avoid making a major legal mistake. Yet pride and authority begin overriding caution. The officers insist their sergeant's approval is enough, while the citizen reminds them that prosecutors determine legal viability, not internal department hierarchy. At this point, the encounter is no longer about recording. It has become a direct clash between government authority and constitutional accountability.
Why would you use terminology?
Well, because I'm not willing to identify, so I'm not going to be willing to fingerprint, right? So just because you put me in handcuffs and put me in a car and take me somewhere, I'm supposed to just be willing to
Well, the problem that we have
waive my rights now?
is so criminal trespass is just a ticket. That's all it is.
Right.
But whenever you start failing to identify and stuff like that, what name are we going to put on the ticket if you're not willing to identify?
Well, it's not a ticket, though. It's not criminal trespass. I just read him the statute. He's not willing to listen. I will read you the statute if you want.
Because you're refusing. Because we gave you the opportunity to leave, and now you're not doing it.
I don't need. You should give me the opportunity to exercise my constitutional rights by recording in a public space, respectfully.
I understand what you're saying.
So you just don't care then? If you're not willing to do that, then I guess you deserve the litigation that's going to follow. That's just the bottom line. You're going to be stripped of your qualified immunity.
So, like I said before, any question?
State Attorney, Tim Hudson, he advised me that's public place. You can be in here. We cannot trespass.
Thank you.
So,
Swagler?
that being
Detective
said-
Swagler?
Detective Swagler,
Appreciate it. It took long enough, but
Salem Police Department,
you're out.
to be on our way.
Yeah, you're not going to enforce. So,
Let me speak with you for just a minute.
you guys' body cam's not muted, right? Not muted? Appreciate that, sir. Thank God. Appreciate it, sir. I'm going to come inside with you since I do have the right
You did
to.
say as long as you stay in the public area, obviously.
Yeah, of course. That's all I had been doing. Didn't bother anybody.
This is the breaking point of the entire encounter. Officers now escalate from warnings to threats of arrest, fingerprinting, and jail time because the citizen refuses to identify himself. Listen carefully here because the logic completely changes. What supposedly began as a simple trespass issue suddenly transforms into stacked charges simply because the citizen refuses to surrender his identity without lawful justification. The citizen tests the officers again by asking a direct question. If he walks away right now, what happens? And the response is incredibly revealing. One officer admits he would rather let him walk away than actually make an arrest. That hesitation exposes the uncertainty underneath the badge. If the violation were truly clear-cut, there would be no pause whatsoever. But instead, the officers continue framing constitutional resistance as defiance. And that distinction matters tremendously. Defiance is not a crime.